Welcome to Mornings with Mel. I'm Mel,
And I'm Tosh.
and this is.
My name is Jordan Adams. I'm the owner of All Sport Nutrition.
Sorry, technical difficulties. Okay, can you share the story behind starting your nutrition store here in Jacksonville?
Yeah, so the place was already established by a couple of other owners. It actually opened up back in 2017. I was still active duty, just kind of was a customer over here at the store for a while. And then I had an opportunity to work for the store whenever I was a combat instructor and had a little bit of extra time on my hands. So I started working, I was just an employee for a while. The manager moved, so I, kind of got promoted to being the manager. Kind of figured out the know-how behind the scenes sort of things. Um, and then come last year in July was my EAS for me to get out of the Marine Corps. And I had an opportunity to buy one of the owners out back in March of 23, so about a year and a half ago at this point. And the place has kind of done a full 180. I've completely remodeled it. We're, fortunately pretty grateful with the loyal customer base that we have and have just kind of grown ever since. So yeah, the place was already here. I kind of, took over at one point, and back in March of this past year, we bought out the third partner that we have. So right now I'm 50%. My other partner's great. He's just more or less of a silent investor, but helps out with some errands and chores around the, on the side. But it is me that is here about 99% of the time.
I love that you started and then you worked your way up kind of thing. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so I've done the grunt work, and now we're here running things and able to, figuring out more along the way, and still very early on, but the data has shown that it's working out well. So yeah. I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. So what would you say makes your store unique compared to other nutrition stores available?
Sure. So I think the biggest thing is the fact that we are a brick and mortar small business. I have the ability to pull pretty much any supplements that I want to, and I'm not kind of restricted to corporate mandates. Another huge thing too is, unfortunately with this economy, a lot of other places are kind of jacking up their prices. Yeah. I do not do that, and I'm very transparent with my customers too. Like, let's say for instance, I have a customer that wants a certain line in the store. I can let them know, like, hey man, I can pull that, but it's going to be more expensive than what they sell it for, because of what my cost is, and I have to, it's a business. I got to make some money. Yeah. If they're cool with that, I'll continue to bring it on, and if it does well, then I'll keep it, and if not, then I take it away. Another thing though too is the fact that I'm here in a t-shirt and shorts. I typically come straight from the gym. I've got 2 kids. My wife and kids will come over here and hang out sometimes. It's a lot less formal, but it allows for me to make that kind of personal connection with my customers. And 9 times out of 10, especially for somebody that's made multiple trips over here, they become more of a friend than just a customer. So it's been really cool in regard to networking, and even with Jeremy, I didn't know him at all. And we had a mutual friend and have just kind of became pretty cool with each other ever since then. And this is again, the proof is in the pudding right now, showing that what we're doing is, it's working.
Well, and for those that don't know, Jeremy is my husband, and so this coming to your store is probably our favorite, or I guess our favorite now too, because I get stuff there now too. But favorite stop of the weekend every time. It's we go grocery shopping and then we'll go there. That's it. And even Emsley likes going in there, so it's kind of cool. So she's our little 3-year-old, but and it is. So if I understand correctly too, you're able to select items you carry, what ones you don't. Is there a way that you kind of pick what you prefer to have? Is there some kind of ideology behind that?
Yeah, absolutely. So a majority of the products that I carry come from Sport Life Distribution. They're the ones that kind of do the fielding from, the third-party tested and FDA approved companies and manufacturers. And then, I sit down with my rep and we kind of talk about quality. We talk about, price, the margins to make it to where, my payout isn't going to be, astronomical, again, going back to this economy and how expensive things are currently. Just to kind of put things into perspective a little bit, the Black Magic protein powder I used to get at $18 a tub, so I could sell it at $44.99. Nowadays, I pay $27.50 per tub, so it's a pretty ridiculous. I mean, almost $10 increase per unit.
And
Um,
they're like everything is the same about it. It's just the price has gone up.
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So, in regard to like what products I do pull, the most important thing is going to be the overall quality. So picking those companies that are backed, well established in the community, and I have reasons to believe that they work and have either worked for me in the past, or as I pull it in, I'm kind of my own guinea pig and try it myself. That way I can kind of practice what I preach.
Yeah.
Another big thing though for my customers to kind of stay tuned with is that I am in the process of manufacturing a couple of my own products. There's 3 currently that I sell and have been selling for about a year and a half now, and they've done really well. And then I've got a pre-workout that's going to be launching here soon, so I'm pretty excited about that.
About that.
So we're excited.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
That's amazing.
So can you, especially for like people that are new, because a lot of people that do watch this, they're either just getting into it or they don't really know how to find the correct information because it is so hard with, TikTok and all the stuff. Like there's a million people to listen to. What is the importance of picking the right supplements like protein or like any kind of supplement? What is the importance of picking the right one?
Sure. So I stress on this very clearly with any and all of my customers, and supplements are not a necessity. They are there to supplement an already optimal or close to it lifestyle. There's no magic pill. So, whatever you're looking to take, there are things to get you in the right direction based off of that. But for instance, for new customers, the basic 3 is what I will typically recommend to somebody. And those 3 would include a creatine supplement, a protein supplement, and then a pre-workout. Again, none of those are going to be necessary by any means. Creatine is the most backed natural supplement in the industry to help out with strength, recovery. It's great for cognitive function. It increases your adenosine triphosphate energy system, so the rest between sets doesn't have to be as long. Your protein intake, it's hard to get 1 gram per pound of body weight, let's be honest. So using a protein powder to kind of supplement that and make up the difference is a good idea. And then the pre-workout is more or less something that, as you're getting started in the gym, you probably aren't having that drive, that motivation. And it makes it more so a part of the routine, the pre-workout ritual, if you will.
Yeah.
So, taking that scoop of powder, putting it in a blender bottle or just dry scooping, which I don't recommend.
Many people do that.
I couldn't do that.
Exactly. But it's a part of the routine to get down, and then there are times where people are like, well, what else do I need? And it doesn't need to be a another matter of us throwing something else at you from the shelf.
Oh, yeah.
Fitness and wellness and bodybuilding, powerlifting, whatever you're into, it is a marathon, not a sprint, and we could throw the whole shelf at you, and at the end of the day, it probably isn't going to make too much of a difference in comparison to you just doing the basic things via training, diet, and sleep.
Well, and I'll attest to this too. So in us coming to your shop, you were able to kind of like, pick out some things, but then we waited to come back and then talk to you again about how it worked out. And then, if we added more or whatever. One thing I did want to talk about, because it's been the most awesome thing ever, is I don't even know exactly what it's called. It's like the little mushroom droppers that help with like gut health and then like cognitive health. Those have been really awesome. So he does have, things other than just protein and stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So like wellness in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And the life cycle mushroom extracts are the ones like specifically that I carry. The lion's mane is phenomenal. It's helped out with my cognitive function. I've had a couple of TBIs, so my wife has typically been my calendar. She now does not have to remind me all the time, at least, of everything that's going on because of the lion's mane has helped, and it literally helps to regrow brain cells. So that's a phenomenal one. Sleep quality, again, being one of the most important things that you can possibly do for yourself is optimize your sleep. The Raiji mushroom extract has helped me out a lot between, anxiety and just my mind being stimulated from being a business owner, being a husband, being a father, being a, aspiring bodybuilder. Like there's all sorts of things that just kind of stimulate the mind. And whenever you lay down at the end of the day, it's difficult to try to calm yourself down to where you can actually get some good sleep. And the Raiji has been phenomenal for me, and pretty much everybody else that I've ever recommended it to has loved it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go
I
in
know.
there and try
I
that.
tried to explain it the other day, but I tried to just leave that. I'll leave that for like Jeremy to come and talk about. Maybe we'll just take a field trip over.
Yeah.
We're not too far away.
There you go.
So, but okay, so you did mention a little bit about networking, and I know you do events in the area sometimes. So what is your vision for like, your all sport nutrition and the community? Like, how would you get out there more to people if you could, or what's your vision?
Sure. So, as it is right now, now that I am no longer active duty, I do have, I wouldn't say more time, but I'm able to kind of reschedule what I'm doing a little bit more. Now that my kids are starting to get older, Jacob is 5 now, so he's in sports, and I've been coaching his T-ball team for the past 3 seasons. We're getting ready to do flag football. This upcoming Saturday is the first game. And so not only does it need to be an approach of like, strictly just the active duty guys and just the veterans, to be totally honest with you, supplementation is okay for, kids. I probably wouldn't put, Jacob on anything, obviously, because he's 5, but, if you start getting into the double digits, 10-year-olds, teens, and stuff like that, it is totally okay to use supplementation. And so kind of revolving my ability to coach the sports and stuff like that, to use that as kind of a network to, reach out to some of the athletes, some of the other coaches, some of the parents, and the events that we, hold sometimes. It's, as of right now, it's more so just like table setups at gyms or, certain events. Like we did the 5K for Onslow County, trying to get, a little bit more involved with like Irreverent Warriors that do their Silkies hike around Jacksonville, which it's more so just a matter of finding, what I need to do in order to reach out to different demographics, and support it the best way that I can. Another thing that I do is whenever the guys are on deployment, the MEU that's currently out, I send each ship a big care package, just want to let them know, like, hey man, thinking about you, know that things aren't ideal right now. Hopefully this helps for the time being.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Gives
Um,
them motivation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. Speaking of the kids, because I feel like this is like a misunderstood topic, because my daughter, she needed more protein in her diet. So
Mhm.
one thing that she loved for breakfast is like a protein shake. And, obviously don't have to listen to everybody, but
Yeah.
a lot of people are just like, she's too young, she's 10, to be taking protein powders and things like that. So I am glad that you kind of said that. I feel like a lot
There
of
is a
people might not
misconception.
understand. Yeah.
I think that a lot of people, when they think supplements, they think of things that are, maybe heavier than protein,
Yeah.
but really they need the vitamins the same way. But so
Sure.
that's interesting. So, what would you recommend? What are some misconceptions that you have heard? Like, just like you said, like with children, like you really can supplement, like protein's important.
Yeah.
Sure. So the biggest misconceptions, I think, again, derive from social media. Seeing the fitness influencers that are obviously using more than protein powder and creatine,
Yeah.
advocating on behalf of some business, and the consumer thinking, I need to take that in order to look like that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's not the case. Again, the most important thing is going to be consistency, which would consist of your training, your diet, and your sleep quality. For the supplementation aspect, they're here to help. They are here to make up the deficiency within the lifestyle. Kind of going back to the foods idea is, all of our foods nowadays are so filled with endocrine disruptors and hormones, and just obviously not the ideal quality in comparison to what, we grew up with as kids, in comparison to what our parents grew up with as kids. Things have just gone downhill. So using supplements to make up for that deficiency within what what our situation is with the food, is a good idea too. Multivitamins, with the protein aspect, again, if you're not getting your protein intake in throughout the day. So for your daughter, I'd say if she's, using a protein powder and she likes it, it's not giving her any like digestive gut health issues, because there are proteins that will do that, then I would say to just keep rocking with it. It's better than the alternative of getting something quick, having the microwave lifestyle that we live right now, where you either pull it through the drive-through or you swipe right or whatever, the instant gratification. Instead, if it means using supplementation as opposed to McDonald's for breakfast, then so be it.
So for a new customer, and I'll use you, Natasha, as an example. Yeah. So, would you recommend that they come in and speak to you about like what exactly they're either feeling, like they're not getting enough sleep, or like they just feel whatever they're feeling? If you come talk to you, you might be able to kind of guide them a little bit, because I think, obviously I have Jeremy who cooks and does all the supplements and everything is just laid out for me, but most people don't have a Jeremy. So, which I will rent him out if need be. But, if they could come talk to you, I think that would, kind of put them at ease a little bit. Because if they don't have someone helping them, it is kind of scary to go in nutrition stores and just like, I used to just shop off what had a pretty label.
Well, yeah, for me, like whenever I have gone into places before, it's I feel like that relationship isn't being built, and then like if I have a question, it's not being answered. It's kind of like beating around the bush, so to speak, and then it's just like, oh, here's this, the most expensive thing in the store. Like you just need this because it was on sale, and I don't know if they're, there's a reason they wanted to sell or whatever. So yeah,
so it's cool that you could guide people. So if you recommend people to come in and just have a conversation with you, would you say that might help them a little bit?
At the end of the day, I'm not. I like to consider myself an expert in regard to this topic. I'm not a doctor. I don't know the end all be all, but I will absolutely do anything and everything in my power to help people out. I do have people that call the store or like send me a DM on social media or something like that, and ask me questions about certain things. And unfortunately, those type of circumstances, it has to be a kind of broad, general answer. This is something that you could take to reach this, as opposed to me, taking some time to question the individual as they're, in person, seeing, what their appearance is, what their goals are, getting things a little bit more specific in regard to what the goal is and where you're currently at. Obviously yeah, I mean, in regard to supplement stores, I get it. Most people might, look at it as though it's a little bit intimidating. It's just like getting started at the gym. You feel like everybody's going to be looking at you or, joking about your form or how you, look like this or how you dress like this or whatever. That's not the case. Sure, there's onesies and twosies out there. But as a whole, you're going to find much more appreciative individuals around you. You're going to find a much better support system throughout going to places in person via the gym or into a nutrition store. I do not operate like I'm a car salesman. I do not operate like I am better than you because I do this. At the end of the day, I was probably in their shoes at one point, especially in this area. I was active duty, and 90% of the population is active duty Marines. So I've been there, done that. And, I know what the lifestyle is like and what all that entails. And so that's another thing too, that I think kind of makes me stand out in comparison a little bit more, is the fact that I do have the experience that 90% of the population has in comparison to some of the other places around here in general.
What they're talking about when it's like exhaustion or stress or those kind of things you get.
Sure. It's like, yeah, so I was awake for 96 hours and I've just felt terrible ever since because I tried to go and train right after that. I didn't get a good pump. I'm looking for something for a good pump product. Well, you should probably, refeed since you just got back from the field and you've been awake for 4 days straight, instead of just trying to go and slam a workout in and wanting to put a Band-Aid on this by, doing this instead. So, I've been there, I've done it. I know what it's like. And I'm not going to give you the Band-Aid to the problem. I will try to find out what the root cause of the problem is and fix that. That way the rest of the issues go away.
That's awesome. I just like it because it's showing that you're building a relationship, you care, and you want people to, whenever they come into your store, to essentially walk out being better and bettering themselves. So that's in itself.
So what is the most rewarding thing that you found since becoming an owner?
the most rewarding is seeing the progress that the customers that I gave the recommendation to is working. And taking where they previously were in comparison to where they were, and it's hard to understand the realistic expectations of using supplementation. We're gonna have to pause for just a second, okay? Let me mute for just a second. So in regard to the most rewarding things as a store owner, and just kind of seeing the process and the progress that everything has kind of come out from this is it's seeing the consumer be happy, seeing the progress that they've made via the recommendations of the supplementation. And I get asked sometimes if I'm like a coach or a personal trainer or something like that, and I have no certifications. I don't claim to be. I don't ask people to pay me money for programming or anything like that. But I will help people because I've been doing this for a little over a decade now, and seeing that those recommendations can make a big difference is extremely rewarding. Seeing the loyal customer base that tends to shop here exclusively. They don't want to go anywhere else. And not only is that, I'm not just saying that for the money that comes into the bank account. I'm saying that more so along the lines of knowing that I've built the relationship that I have, the network that I have. And again, like I said, for customers that start to shop here, 9 times out of 10, they stay here. And again, they become more of a friend than a customer. And, knowing at least most of my customers on a first name basis, I think that goes a long way too, because I, again, try to remember. But that's by far the most rewarding thing. And I think that this also kind of goes into something else that we're going to talk about. But the most rewarding, aside from making the customer happy, is the fact that I'm doing what I want to do. I have the support to do it, and this is what my occupation is, and it's what provides for my wife and my kids and myself. And to know that I have made that connection with my customers. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? That's me. What's up, brother?
So you did say people DM you or follow you. What outlet do you think you put out the most information? Facebook or Instagram? What would be the best way to?
Definitely Instagram. Just get a lot more traction from there. And
Handle, don't mind, and we'll.
Yeah, so it's at All Sport Nutrition Inc. You'll see me and my red beard on all the videos and stuff on there. Yeah, if anybody that's watching this needs any help or is curious about a product or anything like that, feel free to reach out, and I'll be more than happy to do what I can.
Perfect. And then did you have anything in particular you wanted to share? Like if someone had their first impression of All Sport Nutrition, what would you want to get out there?
So in regard to first impressions, that's a great question. This place was not ran by me for the first couple of years. And I bring that up because it was not ran as anywhere near what it's currently being ran at. So I do think that a little bit of a bad reputation kind of got people off on the wrong foot whenever they were first shopping over here. And that is no longer the case. It is me that is here, like I said, about 90% of the time. And all of my employees have been spun up by myself. They're all very knowledgeable and are very helpful and can do pretty much just about anything and everything that I do. But, kind of going back to the most rewarding things of being a business owner, there are so many occasions where somebody will either walk in or call the store and see that it isn't me that's here, and they'll wait until I'm here. So, that's not to take offense to any of my employees or anything like that, but it just kind of goes to show the relationship that I have built with a lot of my customers, and they want to do business with me exclusively. And that's, a pretty cool thing too.
Well, and that's so important. So I think for someone to be able to trust you in guiding them is such an awesome thing. That takes a lot of trust. So that's cool. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
It's nice to see the progress and see that the recommendations worked, or whether it's, preparing for a CFT, PFT, height and weight, bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, whatever it is, CrossFit. I have pretty much everything here at my disposal that, those kinds of individuals would be looking for. Even if you're just new to the gym and are looking for, those couple of basic supplements to kind of get you going. I've got a wide variety of over 500 SKUs in the store right now. And the place has done nothing but grow, and it's going to continue to do so. I think another great way for me to reach out to the community is going to be whenever we do end up expanding. When that's going to happen, I don't know. I think that the election is probably going to dictate that quite a bit. But aside from that, it's inevitable that it's going to happen at some point. And the Allsport brand itself is doing nothing but growing too. So the products that I'm manufacturing, I've got quite a few things in the works right now, and it's just a matter of time before we kind of get the ball rolling with it.
That's awesome. And when those launch, will you put those up on Instagram as well, or okay?
Yeah, I will absolutely do that. The pre-workout, I'm really excited for. Kind of taking the constructive criticism and critiques from all the customers that I've had over the past 4 years, and formulating something that's going to be optimal for performance, for focus, for pump, for energy. I think it's going to be a pretty awesome launch. And I'll have a lot of them because of the minimum order quantity. So if you'd like to come back for it.
We're going to share that too.
Yeah.
So we have people
So,
that are excited to watch this one. So I'm sure they'll have questions once this is all.
Jonathan and I, we need to get in there now. So we're coming in there.
So awesome.
appreciate it.
We appreciate you taking the time.
Yes.
I know,
Of
people
course.
in any second, but so thank you. We appreciate you sitting with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all for having me. I really do appreciate it. I'm humbled by the experience and humbled to have the network that I have. And Jeremy reaching out to me about this in the first place was great. And you all following through with it's been phenomenal too. So
We were
I appreciate it.
the first guy on mornings. with
Yeah,
us.
you are.
What's up? I'll take it.
Well,
Okay.
thank you so
Have a
much.
good day.
Yeah, thank you. You all as well. Okay.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye.